Why do The Boys' new episodes feel like direct reflections of our daily world? Viewers might assume these episodes were written in response to recent headlines, but actually, the writers admitted the scripts were completed over 2 years ago. So how did they manage to predict our current reality so accurately? Are they soups who can see the future? Well, the show's creator told us exactly how, and it is actually quite disturbing. Today, we're breaking down the exact moment The Boys became too real and diving into the insanely eerie reason this show was able to predict our present. By the end of this video, you will never watch The Boys the same again. Watching the last few episodes of The Boys has been quite disturbing. While the show has always taken a dark, edgy South Park approach to poking fun at our society, this latest season has entered Simpsons levels of foreshadowing. There have already been multiple episodes that perfectly depict exactly what just unfolded in our reality. First, we saw Homelander convince himself that he should be worshipped as a god. In episode 3, Homelander, who has basically overthrown the government and is now the hidden president, has a hallucination where he is told he is a god. Because of this, he orders his administration to start introducing him as a deity to the masses. This episode aired just 2 days after the whole AI Jesus debacle, where that image was posted and caused a massive outrage. Kripke, the showrunner, spoke about how accurately this episode mirrored reality. Even though the episode dropped exactly when the news cycle peaked, he confirmed it was written 2 full years prior.
Even as early as a month ago when we were talking about marketing, I was like, look, Homelander saying he's God is so out there. We have to be careful about how we even introduce the idea to the public because they'll say he's gone too far. And here we are. It's really hard. It's hard to out-satire this world, man.
Think about how accurate this was in hindsight. Homelander, who is basically the president of the United States in the show, wants to force Americans to worship him like a god. He literally states that he wants to replace Jesus. There is a scene where he is told they would present them as the second coming. He gets angry and makes it clear that he wants to be seen as the one true God. His administration is shown scrambling, trying to figure out ways they can introduce Homelander as a deity without causing an uproar. Now, let us look at what was unfolding just 2 days before that episode dropped. This image was posted by the Commander-in-Chief's official account, depicting him as a radiant man healing the wounded while the world worshipped him. They claimed it was a doctor, but everyone else saw something else. Regardless, to many, the image seemed to represent the exact same message. Like Homelander, this was a representation of their true desires manifesting. While this scene was already shocking, what just happened recently takes things to a whole new level. With the episode about Homelander thinking he is God, the real world news came first. But this time, the episode came first, and the real world followed. In episode 6, Through the Heavens Fall, Homelander reveals a golden statue to officially declare himself a messianic deity. He chooses to do the ceremony within the Democratic Church of America, a church he invented where he is the one true God. The statue was meant to signal his shift from being a corporate superhero to a god king who demands literal worship. This episode went insanely viral because just hours later, this actual golden statue was unveiled in Miami in honor of the Commander-in-Chief. Just like the AI image, this statue drew massive criticism from many people, with the public making all types of comparisons. Everyone immediately pointed at this episode as it once again seemed to have predicted this very moment. This time, the episode aired just hours before the real-world event unfolded. Take a second to really take this all in. Homelander literally unveils a golden statue of himself so he can be worshipped as a god. A statue that is clearly meant to represent the golden calf mentioned in the Bible. In the book of Exodus, the golden calf is the ultimate symbol of idolatry and the betrayal of God. During a period of uncertainty, the Israelites built a statue to worship a physical god. In the show, the Democratic Church of America unveiling a massive golden statue of Homelander is a direct nod to the Israelites building the calf. It signifies that the people have stopped following traditional laws or morals and are now worshiping a man-made deity they can see and touch. Then, just a few hours after this episode, this statue pops up in the real world. It seemingly sends the exact same message. Many believe this statue represents just how lost people have become in idolatry, and how the lines have blurred so far that global leaders are becoming modern deities to be worshipped. This is the exact moment the show became too real. The moment where the lines blurred so far that you cannot just brush this off as a coincidence anymore. What are the odds that an episode written 2 years ago accurately predicts reality just hours before it unfolded? The Simpsons has nothing on the boys. Now seriously ask yourself how the show was able to predict this statue. This seems too precise to just be a random coincidence. There has to be a logical explanation for how this show managed to get this right. Well, Eric Kripke actually told us how he managed to do all of this, and to be honest, it does not make any of this any better. Eric recently did an interview where he was questioned about this very thing. What he said was quite disturbing. According to him, the reason the episode managed to predict our reality so accurately was because he based it on a dystopian future.
We always say in the writer's room, bad for the world, good for the show. I really wish it was the opposite. Totally bummed out to say that we wrote it before the election. And this sounds super naive now, but I swear the plan was, let's write like a 1984 version of what creeping authoritarianism looks like in America. And maybe everyone will be like, whoop, we really dodged a bullet. But instead we got hit with the bullet. And a lot of things that was far-fetched for us, we're like, that's crazy, have come to pass in a way that's really, really troubling. And there's a line, I won't give it away, but there's a line in episode 7 that Homelander says that was the craziest line we could think of. And it's already happened. Anyway, bottom line, things aren't great. Things aren't awesome. Was my point.
He said he wanted the show to depict our society descending into a dystopian world, meaning that Homelander presenting himself as God and demanding worship with a golden statue are clear indications of a collapsing society. Essentially, the showrunners trying to tell us our world is becoming a dystopian reality quite literally in front of us. This show was meant to be a comical, what-if scenario that was never supposed to exist. But 2 years after the script was finalized, the show became reality. I recently made a Patreon video where I went deeper into this very thing. If you want to see that, you can find the link in the description so you can watch it after. The point is, we are living in a world where a show trying to create an unbelievable dystopian future became our reality. The insanity of all of this is that the people aren't affected by any of this in the slightest. They see the boys' new episode and laugh when it unfolds in the real world hours later. No one actually stops and acknowledges how strange this all is. We can also see this in other parts of the latest season. The show gives us a massive warning about what happens when institutions use fear to divide and control the public. Take a look at how the administration handles the Starlighters. In Season 5, Homelander takes full control of the country behind the scenes. Anyone who disagrees with him, especially the people who support his rival Starlight, are immediately labeled as dangerous terrorists. Vought uses their entire news network to brainwash the public into thinking these regular citizens are actual monsters who want to destroy America. Because they control the media, they get the public to cheer while the government literally rounds up the Starlighters and throws them into internment camps. They call them freedom camps to make it sound patriotic. The writers made sure to show exactly what these places look like. Huey, Frenchie, and MM are locked inside one of them for a whole year. They show characters being brutally punished for the smallest of reasons. Above the gates of the camp, they even put up signs saying freedom will make you free. While all of this horrible stuff is happening to innocent people, Homelander goes on television and talks about how great the stock market is doing. He uses the media to make the public care more about corporate profits than human rights. Vought News plays on a loop, constantly feeding the public fake stories to make sure everyone stays terrified of the Starlighters. The writers knew exactly how powerful corporations and political leaders can manufacture a crisis. They showed us what happens when people start treating politicians like gods and blindly believe whatever the news tells them. The people at the top will lock up their own citizens and use the media to convince you that they had to do it to keep you safe. The sad reality is, these writers claim they simply paid very close attention to the direction our culture was already heading. 2 years ago, the cracks were already clearly visible for anyone looking. The blind worship of political figures and the massive obsession with celebrity culture were beginning to normalize in a major way. The creators took the exact behaviors they saw happening in the real world and played them out to their most extreme conclusion. They asked a very simple question with their show. What happens when a society stops holding its leaders accountable and starts treating them like flawless deities? They looked at the power of corporate media to manipulate the truth. They watched the way constant anger and fear are used to control the public and keep everyone divided. They built this story by gathering all these toxic ingredients that were already present in our society. The reason the show feels so incredibly accurate right now is because the warning signs have been flashing for years. The writers not only criticized the leaders, but it also called out the followers. Notice how Homelander's supporters dress up, wave flags, and treat politics like a superhero movie. When he does something horrible, they just cheer louder. They overlook all morals because they only care that their side is winning. This entire situation was actually born directly out of celebrity culture. For decades, they have trained society to put other humans just like you and me on a godly pedestal. People are taught to completely worship actors, athletes, and influencers simply because they like what they do. The writers saw this cultural shift and revealed what happens when that exact same celebrity worship transfers over to political leaders like we see unfolding today. The real issues come directly from the millions of regular people who are completely willing to give their worship. The writers recognize that society is treating real life like a reality television show. Most people stopped thinking critically. They started treating life like sport teams where you blindly defend your chosen side no matter what new facts come out. When you look at the crowds cheering for Homelander in the show, you are looking at a direct reflection of our modern world. The creators knew that if you convince the public they're a part of an exclusive club, they will let leaders get away with absolutely anything. They showed us exactly how easily the public can be trained to celebrate their own destruction. The signs are written on the wall. Those behind the show saw the plan before it unfolded. 2 years later, their script became reality. Homelander represents how dangerous too much power in one man's hands can be. He shows how blind worship allows a madman to lead a whole generation to a terrible end. I originally tuned into The Boys because so many of you requested a breakdown. The creators used this gory superhero story entirely as a vehicle to critique the hidden realities of celebrities and politicians. They present a dark reflection of how massively influential people operate behind closed doors. Just as these characters wear capes to build public trust, real-world elites maintain carefully constructed public facades to sell their image. Understanding that manipulation is exactly how the writers predicted our current reality 2 years ago. So the question is, will you be the one who blindly supports men like Homelander, or will you stand up against the manipulation? Recently, Hollywood has been on a massive streak of revealing the hidden truth. They just released the movie They Will Kill You, and that film exposes so much you're not gonna believe it. If you want to see how this movie confirms everything we talk about on this channel, click and watch this video right now. For those who want to further support the channel, check out my Patreon. For just $3, you get access to over 60 exclusive videos not available anywhere else. These videos are different because I don't have to worry about what I can and cannot say. If you like what I do and want to join the movement, join me on Patreon. The link is in the description. Another way to show your support is by liking, and more importantly, hyping this video. Your hype gets this video seen by more people who needs this wake-up call. If you found this video interesting and want to see more, make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you get updated on every single upload. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.